Whenever our freedom, our honor, and our homes have been threatened, the citizens and families of Delaware have repeatedly and courageously answered the call to defend their rights and their communities. As early as 1655, approximately 350 years ago, citizens of the colony of New Sweden, as it was then known, organized a militia to defend Fort Christina in Wilmington from Dutch soldiers. The American Revolution provided the backdrop for Delaware troops standing side by side with their neighbors from Maryland to once again answer the call. Delaware troops were greatly outnumbered by a much larger force of British regulars at a site in Newark known as Couch's Bridge. Our troops fought so valiantly that they were soon heralded by British officers as the best unit in the Continental Army. Although the battle was not a victory for the colonists, it did successfully delay the advance of the British, and thus gave General Washington more time to regroup his forces outside of Philadelphia in Chadds Ford. Today, the Battle of Couch's Bridge is remembered for two reasons. First, because it was the only Revolutionary War battle fought on Delaware soil, and second, because it is thought to be the first battlefield display of the flag depicting the Stars and Stripes. As scholars and students of American military history recognize, the securing of independence from Great Britain did not ensure that peace between America and England would last forever. Once again, the peace was shattered and war broke out in 1812. In April of 1813, specifically, 1,000 of Delaware's militia and the citizens of Lewis successfully withstood and repulsed a lengthy bombardment of their town by the British Navy, which had entered the Delaware Bay. For several decades following the cessation of hostilities with England, our young nation lived in relative harmony with the rest of the world. Unfortunately, social, political, and economic differences between the northern and southern states eventually led to civil war among our own countrymen. Although Delaware soil was never the site of any battles during the American Civil War, more than 12,000 Delaware citizens, mostly from Newcastle County, were recruited to fight for the Union Army, while an untold number, mostly from south of Middletown, stood up for the cause of the Confederacy. Today, we remember Union veterans such as John Merritt Sparks, a Methodist minister and farmer from Smyrna, and his son William Sparks, both of whom fought for the Union Army. William was wounded June 18, 1864, before the Battle of Petersburg in Virginia. Perhaps among the most notable are Admiral Samuel Francis DuPont and his cousin, Colonel Henry Algernon DuPont. It was Colonel DuPont who was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for his actions at the Battle of Cedar Creek in Virginia. His family home in Greenville is now the site of Winterthur Museum. Camp Brandywine in Greenville was established to guard the powder yards at Hagley, and Fort Delaware on Pea Patch Island in Delaware City was built and fortified primarily to protect the ports of Wilmington and Philadelphia. Although the Union garrison at Fort Delaware was never forced to fire its guns in battle, the fort became known as one of the most notorious Union prisons when it housed over 13,000 Confederate prisoners following the Battle of Gettysburg. As the decades and generations passed, Delaware, though small in size, has always answered the call to protect our freedom, our honor, and our home. From San Juan Hill to the Argonne Forest, from Pearl Harbor to Korea, from Da Nang to Baghdad, Delaware families have answered the call and have served proudly, and Delaware citizens continue to do so today in all branches of the armed forces as career soldiers, reservists, and members of the National Guard. It is hard to imagine what these men and women have endured or sacrificed. On the battlefield, where the horror of war and separation from home are most vivid, Delaware's veterans have characterized the best of what America has to offer. While battlefield service is most often viewed as the measure of a soldier's courage under fire, the reality of being a world apart in harm's way, separated from family and loved ones during holidays or special family events, requires a courage of another sort. What price can we place on moments like the birth of a child or the death of a parent? Whether in peace or war, every veteran must be honored for sacrificing a part of his or her life to protect and defend our freedom, our honor, and our home. Today, Delaware is home to more than 80,000 men and women who have served in our nation's armed forces. Yet until recently, there was no veterans home that these men and women could call their own. Can a few holidays, monuments, or parades truly recognize and honor their service? Following several years of tireless efforts on the part of Delaware's veterans, led in large measure by veterans who serve on the state's Commission of Veterans Affairs, Delaware broke ground on August 15, 2005 to construct a $30 million veterans home that offers a full range of long-term care options for up to 150 Delaware veterans. Basic construction and operational costs have been borne by the state and federal governments, but it takes more than public dollars to turn this facility into a home. That is why the Friends of the Delaware Veterans Home launched a fund drive to provide a variety of enhancements to and for the facility, which will offer residents and their families a wide choice of recreational opportunities and amenities, such as walking paths, an outdoor pavilion for seasonal events and activities, picnic tables, benches, landscaping, flagpoles, a greenhouse, and a library. A complete list of these gift opportunities and enhancements appears in the literature which accompanies this presentation. The Freedom, Honor, and Home campaign is dedicated to Delaware's veterans who have served and continue to serve our state and our nation. Please consider how you, your family, your business, and your community can support this effort to provide the care and the home our Delaware veterans need and deserve. Your tax-deductible contribution will be greatly appreciated. Checks should be made payable to Friends of the Delaware Veterans Home. Delaware's veterans and their families, thank you.